Welcome back to Crossworks Media. Today we're going to talk about how a Pennsylvania principal is charged with 30 counts of sexual conduct with a child, a student. Then we will be talking about a new CNN abortion ad. And then finally, we'll talk about the psychotic life and events of Ezra Miller. So let's dive right into this Pennsylvania principal. So a high school principal in Pennsylvania has been charged with 30 counts of sexual intercourse and contact with a student, according to a court documents filed Monday. He is a 34-year-old man named Roger Weaver Freed, who served as principal of Williamsport Area High School, is accused of maintaining a years-long relationship with a student and continued after the student graduated high school and while he was attending college, according to the court documents. So he's charged with 30 counts of third-degree felony of school intercourse / sexual conduct. And in addition to that, several charges, including third-degree felony of corruptions of minors, second-degree felony sexual assault, second-degree aggravated indecent assault without consent, and 3 misdemeanor counts of furnishing liquor to a minor. So the student told investigators that he approached Freed, so the student initiated this, I guess, in 2015 after noticing that he was popular with students at the middle school service center. At the time, the student was attending Williamsport Area Middle School, the document says. The police say the student began to believe that he could lean on Freed for emotional support after one of his family members.
The principal was a girl?
No, a man. This is
a man and then a dude
boy.
Student?
Yeah, this is a homosexual relationship. But, so he was trying to lean on this guy for support, and then after, these school conversations turned into numerous after-school interactions, beginning in 2015 and progressing through 2018 when the student graduated high school. The sexual relationship continued until April 2022. The student told police that Freed volunteered to drive them to various locations for, air quotes, one-on-one conversations. He added that he and the principal were bros and could talk about anything, especially the student's sexuality. In 2017, the student and Freed discussed advancing their relationship sexually one evening while driving around Williamsport. After driving around, the principal said to the student, "You promise not to tell anyone? I could lose my job over this," while massaging the student's shoulders. Oh my gosh. Following this first encounter, the student told investigators that Freed stressed the importance of not telling a soul and how their relationship was private. He said he felt overwhelming guilt over this encounter, the student said, and the two engaged in sexual acts 4 to 5 times a week throughout the next 2 years of high school. So, the student told police he continued an emotional and sexual relationship with Freed throughout the remainder of senior year in high school and into college, detailing many encounters. Freed was arraigned Tuesday and his bail was set at $175,000. So, this is where we say the left doesn't need to have kids, they have yours. Literally. So
in multiple ways.
Yeah, so literally. So this principal, 34-year-old principal, groomed this kid. This kid went to this principal for emotional support because of a family member who died, and this sick man, this sick principal, exploited this child's life, exploited his innocence, and I don't even know, what's so attractive about that?
I mean, if you look throughout history, until really now almost, I mean, kids have been kind of like, they haven't, I don't know, I'm trying to phrase this the right way without sounding weird, but kids really have been withheld from like sexual encounters with adults really kind of in the modern era. I mean, back then, you really they didn't think about like 12 years old really as that much. Kids were getting married to old dudes at like 12 years old back then. So, it's almost like a part of like human nature, but do you get what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah, like the Roman emperors used to take little
sin.
Kids all the time.
It's like a human sin, but
it's not unique to this time period necessarily.
Yeah, like it's not some new thing.
It's been happening for generations.
It's kind of hard to look into someone's sick mind like that, but it could be the attraction of innocence. You know what I'm saying? Like they're attracted to this little innocent little kid or something.
Yeah.
And they just they want to feel special, and plus it's the part of the danger aspect of it, not trying not to get caught, and the power they have over students.
But it seems to be happening more and more, or it's just being found out more and more. Who knows? Maybe this happens a ton. Actually, it does. Schools, sexual assault and stuff in schools is outrageous.
I have this report here that in 2004, the U.S. Department of Education released a report that looked at sexual misconduct in the classroom. The report concluded that roughly 10% of students experience sexual misconduct by a teacher at some point during their K through 12 school experience. Although the report is from 2004, various studies and media reports support its finding. So, I mean, that's in 2004. It's roughly 10% of students.
That's
crazy,
high, dude. That's wicked high. That's higher than the Catholic Church.
That's a lot more than I expected, actually.
Yeah.
But no, they never bring this up though.
Of course not.
They like to attack the Catholic Church because they like to attack Christianity, but they don't want to attack the state-sponsored indoctrination camps called school.
No, they like it when your kids get raped.
Expand upon that.
The left, they love it because to them it's like, first of all, they're utter evil, okay? And they're pushing for homosexuality.
Okay, but you can't say, when you say the left, you can't say everyone on the left likes that. I would say maybe the extreme.
I'll tell you what.
There's some moderate lefts.
Fine. In 20 years, if we don't change this culture war, it will be generally accepted.
MAPS?
Yeah.
Minor attracted persons?
Yeah, or righteous pedophiles, or like they're trying to normalize this. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So it's pretty sick. I mean, and when I say them, I'm meaning the people that are doing it in the school.
Okay.
Like this stupid principal and stuff.
Okay.
Like it happens so much. Okay, that it's being covered up to. Look at what happened.
Yeah, that 10%. I mean, that's what's probably been reported.
So exactly.
That's not even including all the stuff that hasn't been found out.
Look at what happened in Virginia with that kid that raped that girl or assaulted the girl. I don't know if it's where the father like lunged up the kid in the courtroom and the news were like, this guy tried to attack him, and then when the school covered up that she got,
Loudoun County.
Yeah, and then they moved him to a different school and he did it again.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, this stuff gets covered up constantly. That's what I mean. Okay, they don't care. So it's leftism, and I don't know, man.
Well, so they actually released this thing of what the typical offender is of like sexual misconduct on students, and it's typically is male, well liked at school, and likely has been recognized for excellence at their job. So, like, this isn't, like, a crap teacher. Most of the time, I guess, it's a very well-liked male teacher that is, like, very good at his job. And the average age is about 28 years old. And it says, while they're most likely women, there's also... most likely men most of the time, there also is women. And the typical victim, it said, was students with disabilities are more likely to experience sexual misconduct. 17% of the targets were students with special needs.
Yeah, I think
taking advantage.
Looking at more and more, the public school system is horrifying, and I guess the state is almost trying to make the schools take the job of what the family is supposed to be, is what's going on. I think we need to totally reform the school, the education system, number one. There's no reason to force kids to learn about stuff they're not interested in.
Or also for when young kids sit in a classroom all like 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
I mean, kids like in what age do you go to school at?
Like 6 or 7.
6 or 7, yeah. I don't think kids that young are supposed to be meant to be sitting down that much.
No, not at all. And I think maybe it's Germany, whatever, like when you, I think, get through middle school or elementary school, you move on to, like, I think there's 3 different schools that you can go to. And that's what we should do. We should do something where you don't like, kids are completely different. You're not always going to, like, there's no reason why a kid should do calculus if he doesn't want to do calculus, or he's not going to use that for a job in the future. There's no reason for it.
Well, the pushback on that, though, is what kid's going to want to do anything then?
Okay, here's what I'm saying. They should at least have more. Like, obviously, you have a choice in high school. I didn't take calculus. I took probability and statistics instead of calculus. We should expand upon that more.
Yeah, I took calculus.
I know. So, but, like, that's my thing. Instead of taking calculus, I took 2 automotive courses, which counted as a math credit. Okay, so I didn't have to take calculus. So that's a good thing. I think that should be applied even to middle school, where you have, like, in high school, where you can pick the classes you want. You know, you should obviously have reading, writing, and arithmetic, and history. History's big.
But, like you were saying, what'd you say? You said that, like, if they're not going to use that thing in the future, what kid in the middle school is going to know what he's going to do in the future? How does he know? Like, what if he's like at that age? I don't want to do math. Like, I'm not going to do that in the future. And then once they get older, they're like, oh man, I really wish I could be an engineer, but I don't know math that well.
Listen, they can still be an engineer. Here's the thing.
But they'll be off.
Here's what I'm trying to say. If they're interested in the class, they're going to pay more attention and do better. Okay?
Obviously.
If they're in middle school or if they're in high school, okay, and you slack off in a class, if you're forced to take the class but you have no interest in it, what a waste of time for you and the teacher. What a waste of resources. Okay? Because there's, like, chemistry, I did not do good. I couldn't have cared less. Like, honestly, I got a D minus, I think, in that class.
Oof.
And I just didn't care about it. And, like, I mean, I tried, but I didn't have an interest in it. So I didn't grasp anything. If I don't interest in something, I don't grasp concepts unless I'm, like, interested in it when it comes to school. So what a waste of time for the teacher or the school to put me through chemistry when I freaking hated it. But no, you're going to have 4 math or science credits. So I had physical science. I loved biology. Freaking loved it. Biology was great. But then you have to take chemistry. That was how our school was. Physical science, which is kind of like an intro to everything. Then biology, and then chemistry. And then you're supposed to take the 4th class, an elective. Okay? But with taking 2 years of auto, it worked as a math credit, and it worked as a science credit.
But I think the reason why they do that is so everyone gets, like, the base learning on, like, you know, you learn biology, learn chemistry. What is there anything else you have to? Did you have to do physics?
No, physics was
physics
elective.
was AP. For me, physics was an AP class. But like, if you get those base classes, then, I mean, when you're young, you don't know what you want to do, dude. I mean, half the time, 18-year-olds don't even know what they want to do. It's like, I mean, what if you hated chemistry, but then after a little while, then you're like, oh, I kind of like it a little more, and then you just didn't do it.
Here's the thing.
If you did it, then you would at least have the base concepts of it, at least.
No.
Unless if you just didn't take it at all.
If you're not interested in it, it's a waste of time. Okay? Like, and if you're going to be interested...
But you just said history is important. But what if a kid's not interested in it? Then it's a waste of time.
History is important in a different way.
But what if they're not interested in it?
Well, so, like...
Don't put them through it.
Here's the thing. I believe
Here's
here's the deal, 100%. I believe kids need to take science classes. I believe they need to take math classes. But once you get up into the higher echelons, chemistry, okay, the basics, the fundamentals of chemistry is figured out in, like, physical science, where you learn, like, the makeup of an atom, there are different structures of atoms and stuff, okay? So in chemistry, you're talking about, like, counting valence electrons and covalent bonds. Why?
I liked chemistry.
Why do I need to learn how to count valence electrons?
Well, see, what was sick, it was I took chemistry in college, and the lab, because when it comes to college, I had chemistry, just the class, and then I had to go take a lab, which was always at like 7:00 at night on like a Wednesday or something, and dude, the chemistry labs were sick. Dude, we actually like played around with some like dangerous stuff. Like this one time, we had to take like I think like 1 mole of if you don't know what a mole is, it's like kind of like this, I guess, potency of it, kind of the strength of it. But we had to take 1 mole of like some kind of acid, and we had this one dude that we told to go grab it, and he grabbed like a 6 mole of it, and we started like mixing it together, and we're like, wait, what's this smell? And she came over and we're like, what'd you put in it? And then he was like, I grabbed one of the stuff that went out of that bottle. And she went over like, that's 6 moles. She's like, that's literally like toxic stuff. So she had to like grab the vent and stuff. But I mean, it was kind of cool, like mixing all that stuff. And we use microscopes and everything. I thought it was pretty cool. But I don't know. I think people should learn that stuff.
Biology is cooler.
Yeah, I like biology too.
But
I liked classes.
Here's the thing. Nobody needs to take chemistry. Nobody even needs to take biology. Okay? Like, there should be physical science should be like the only mandatory class. Or whatever your intro to science class was in high school. Ours was called physical science. Okay, it's just like in history, like, that's important. You need to know, like, we took history class. It was history 1, history 2, okay? And then there was elective history classes, like, I had Holocaust, okay? There was a full class all year long. It was a great history class. Loved it, okay? But that's an elective course, okay? And I did great in it. I got an A+ in it. I took AP, was it AP or was it honors? I don't know. It was honors.
Knowing you, it was CP.
Most of mine were CP, but it was an honors psychology class. It was very, very hard class. Teacher was, wicked strict on what to do, and grading was brutal. But I was interested in it. I liked doing it, and yeah, it was a tough class, but I still passed it. Passed it with like maybe a C+, B- because it was very, very hard. But I was interested in it, okay? And therefore, I learned a lot from it. It was just like the tests and stuff, like, I'll be honest, man, testing in school is kind of a waste of time. Like, it really is.
See, I'm not the right person to argue about this because I loved my high school stuff. I really liked taking a lot. The only thing I hated was, which was my fault, when I took AP, was it AP Literature? That was my fault. I didn't have to take that class.
Sounds boring.
It was. I just hated it because it was all like just memorizing stupid terms and reading books that I didn't care about. But that was my fault. But all the other classes I loved. I took law. I took a bunch of really cool classes.
Yeah, I took law.
But I love my high school experience. So
I loved high school too. Okay, I did. I enjoyed high school. All I'm saying is that you shouldn't have to. Like, I wish I could have dropped my chemistry course and took another elective. Something I would have been interested in. Okay. And so back to the
we went down a rabbit hole, man.
Back to psychology class. I got bad grades because of like doing a slideshow. I wasn't really like technically involved. So like building a slideshow it kind of looked janky. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like nice as these other people's. So like I get graded on my technical abilities of doing a slideshow rather than the knowledge of it. Yeah, the information of it, because it's just stupid. It was stuff like that, or like build a poster board, and like those things are just dumb. Like that doesn't tell you how knowledgeable you are on a subject.
Listen, don't be mad just because you sucked at your grades and stuff. Anyways, back to the Andersons. Grooming of kids.
Yes, reform of school. Homeschool your kids.
Yeah, the government doesn't want you to homeschool your kids, though, because they want you to be in the government institutionalized schools so they can teach you all the government
useless
stuff.
Classes like chemistry and AP literature. And then while you're at it, they want to let people diddle your kids.
But anyways, should we go on to the next story?
Yeah.
After we talked about, we went from diddling kids just to talking about how dumb chemistry and stuff is.
Well, you know what? That's par for the course, okay?
Oh, and you know why we went to it? Because, we're talking about this guy who, principal who did stuff with kids. They had a weird chemistry.
Do you get it? Because, like, chemistry, like, they use that as a term for, like, love together, or, like...
All right, let's go on to our next news. W. Kamau Bell. He's a so-called comedian. He's one of the new comedians where the only thing that's funny about his career is how much of a failure it is. I've never actually...
Yeah, you're never laughing with him. You're always laughing at him.
What a failure of a career, because I've never heard him. He's some CNN comedian. And on Father's Day, they had a new PSA called Dads for Choice. And it talked about, because the whole thing is about America's bracing for the Supreme Court that's going to overturn Roe v. Wade pretty soon.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It would have already happened.
Nope. They're just waiting it for it to die down a little bit. But anyways, we will play the ad for you because it's kind of a little messed up what they talk about in here. But let me pull this thing up right now. All right. Yeah, here it is.
Dad does so much for the family. This Father's Day, give him what he really needs. Not a home brewing kit, not socks. Give him safe and legal access to abortion. Hello, I'm noted male feminist W. Kamau Bell. Do you know how much I've spent on birth control in my life? $213, mostly on condoms that expired in my wallet. Do you know how much my wife has spent?
$17,530.
Dads, if you've ever had sex and not had a kid, it's likely birth control or abortion played a role. We're used to not having to worry about it. But nobody ever got pregnant from a vibrator. For that you need...
a sperm and an egg. A sperm and an egg.
That's right. See, the majority of people seeking abortions are already parents. They know what's right for their families. They would know if having another kid would send them spiraling into poverty.
It definitely would. Oh my God.
Funny you should mention God, because there's literally no mention of the word abortion in here. Just like in here, there's no mention of how the state is going to help these families if they force to bear these children.
It's almost like this is just a way for a few fragile men to use religion to control our bodies.
Hold on, honey. Daddy's doing a PSA. Okay. Ask any parent. Parenting is a job. A wonderful, very difficult job. And since when does America force anybody to do a job against their will without paying them by controlling their bodies? Oh, yeah, right. So as we celebrate Father's Day, let's also celebrate birth control, abortion, and bodily autonomy. Because man, have we benefited from those.
So enjoy your day, guys, and welcome to the fight. We've been waiting.
All right, turning that garbage off. Yeah, so how dumb was that? They're going to talk about Father's Day, and they're going to talk about abortion and how to kill your kids.
There's no verse in the Bible that talks about abortion. Matthew 18:14. So it is not the will of my Father who is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish. Bam. So God doesn't want these little kids to die. Okay?
Yeah, but the word abortion isn't in there, so...
Exodus 20:13. You shall not murder. Okay? Like, it is a... Let's look up what murder is. Definition of murder is an unlawful, premeditated killing of one human being by another.
Yeah, but they don't think it's a human being. They think it's a parasite.
No, it's literally scientifically a human being. It's a fetus. It's not the Greek word. Let's look up what a fetus is, okay? Because we got to really break it down for these second losers. Fetus, an unborn offspring of a mammal, in particular an unborn human baby, more than 8 weeks after conception. Okay. So they want to murder a fetus, which is unborn human baby. So it's a human baby that's not born yet. Okay.
It has the potential.
Listen, do they premeditate an abortion? Or does it happen by accident, like when they go to the abortion clinic? It's obviously premeditated. Okay, they plan an abortion. Bam, they're gonna do it medical or surgical. Is it unlawful? No, technically not. Technically, it's not lawful or unlawful in the United States law. Technically. Now, actually, it is. Okay, because the baby has rights. The left will tell you the baby doesn't have rights, but we know the baby has rights. Just because a doctor and a mother, like if you went to the doctor's office with your 10-month-old and the doctor's like, you know what, we need to end the life of this baby, and the mother's like, yes, we do. That doesn't make the murder lawful. So, thou shalt not murder. That guy is a freaking liar.
Well, see, it's so dumb because then, I mean, there's a lot of stuff the Bible doesn't mention. I mean, does the Bible mention grand larceny?
It actually does not.
Oh wow! Well, then how do you know that's bad?
I don't know what grand larceny is.
I think it's like theft.
Oh yeah.
Does the Bible mention I don't know, manslaughter?
It says thou shalt not murder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, canvas is it? Hey. Just
manslaughter
like
is the unintentional.
Just like the Constitution doesn't say anything about abortion either, but somehow they said that there's a constitutional right to an abortion.
To murder, you mean?
Yeah, to murder.
To Mordor?
Mordor. But that was such a stupid ad though. There was so much dumb crap in there. I mean, you're gonna make a Father's Day ad about, in order to be a father, you have to not abort a child.
Why did she spend $17,000 on birth control?
I have no idea.
Why is that my fault?
And what's really stupid is that he was like, if you're a father and you've had sex before and not had a kid, it's most likely because of birth control. Isn't there such thing as like womanly cycles?
Yeah. So a woman usually can only get pregnant at 6 days out of the month, okay? Because there's a cycle where she's fertile.
Exactly.
So
you don't need birth control.
The Catholic Church doesn't allow you to use any contraception. And there's a lot of Catholics that doesn't have 600,000 kids for a reason, okay? So
they're not the party of science.
They're not. They're literally not. Like, they literally are not. They like to say they are, and they're not. I was arguing with a guy on Facebook the other day about how
Surprise.
He thinks Christians are nationalist, retarded people. So, what? Anyways, and he was telling me how he doesn't believe in God because he believes in the scientists. And I was like, well, there's Christian scientists. He's like, I believe they're wrong. Okay, so you don't believe scientists. That's my point. You can be a scientist fully believing that science is 100% true, because obviously it is. What is true is true. But that doesn't mean God doesn't exist. Let's say evolution happens, okay? And evolution, I don't think it's true. I do believe it's what is it called? Small scale evolution or whatever it's called.
Microevolution. There's micro and macro.
So microevolution is like adaptation. You adapt to your environment. So obviously I believe
like the moths in Britain.
Yeah, or the sheep, the mountain goats that, the one that has thicker fur in the mountains survives because it's got thicker fur. It's cold, so he survives, has offspring with thicker fur. So God can work through all this stuff. Okay, God can. If you think the Earth's 600,000 billion years old, that doesn't disprove God. Okay, like, I don't understand that.
I think God made a very complicated but understandable world. Like, they talk about, look at how the little microevolutions, like, what, God can't make something like that.
Exactly. Well, the Big Bang. Yeah, I just know who banged it. Okay, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Boom. The universe is ever expanding outwards, which means it started at one point.
They don't know that.
Who's that?
Them.
Okay.
No, but anyways, with all this stuff, I mean, people, it's just we're going further away from God. So, I mean, all this abortion stuff and the sacrificing of infants to who's that stupid Moloch or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's one with a B. Baal. ball or something
Bell.
like that. But to talk about, to go into the next story of, the further we stray away from God and anything that is good, we'll move on to, I don't even know, what would you call this guy?
Ezra Miller?
Yeah, I know Ezra Miller,
Satanist?
but some
Self-lover?
self-loving, non-binary, self-proclaiming non-binary, grooming,
Pedophile.
failed
loser,
actor. Anyways, Ezra Miller, if you
ugly.
guys don't know who Ezra Miller is, he plays the Flash in the movie Justice League, and he's been accused of behaving inappropriately with children in Massachusetts and North Dakota. He also faces assault charges out of Hawaii. So, if you guys haven't been paying attention to this story, which I understand why you don't, because who really cares about actors? But apparently this guy has been grooming this girl since
No,
she
they,
was...
them. She says that she's they, them.
My bad. Since he met her when she was 12 years old, and the parents are saying that he's been grooming her, and now as soon as she got to be 18 years old, he took her from her parents, and now he's like out on the run from the police, and they're trying to find him, and he's trying to he's evading them and talking about, and this isn't the only time he's done this. He also did this with this other kid. I forgot where it was. I think it was Massachusetts or something like that. Or there was this other time when he was talking to this to these people. He got invited to their house, and he was talking, and there was this I think it was I forgot how young it was, around 11 or something like that. Year old. I think it was a boy, but I guess the kid was more thinking about transgender stuff, and he was talking with the family, and he really took a liking to this kid and was talking about how powerful he could be, and then the mom did something. He just started flipping out on the mom, and he tried to groom that kid too, but I guess the parents stopped it. But yeah, so the actor, I guess, was with the one in Massachusetts. The guy seemed really friendly to the family and everything, but the mom grew suspicious of Miller's relationship with her child and described Miller's conduct as both menacing and inappropriate at times. So he lived 40 miles away on a ranch in Vermont, and he visited the home in Greenfield and had a verbal argument with the child's mother and a neighbor. The neighbor told reporters that the actor was wearing a bulletproof vest and had a gun at the time of the altercation. He argued with the child's mother about parenting and guidance. And then both the neighbor and child's mother told reporters that they believed Miller to be intoxicated due to have dilated pupils and erratic behavior. So eventually he ended up taking this 18-year-old Native American activist, Dakota Iron Eyes, who met Miller when Iron Eyes was 12 and Miller was 23. And they were granted a protective order against the actor on June 7th, alleging the actor is psychologically manipulating, physically intimidating, and endanger the safety and welfare of their child. So, according to LA Times, they have interacted several times over the past 6 years, including an instance where Iron Eyes' parents allowed them to fly to London with Miller for the Fantastic Beasts premiere in 2017. During this event, Miller allegedly tried to share a bed with 14-year-old Iron Eyes before being stopped by a chaperone.
The guy's a psycho.
Oh, a psycho, dude. He's the epitome of the freaking psycho, non-binary leftist. The guy's in love with himself.
Oh, wicked bad, dude. And what was it? 2018, I believe. No, 2020. He freaking in Iceland just started choking. Went up to some random lady. He was like, "You want to fight?" And then just started choking the crap out of her. And I think he got arrested for that, or he was asked to leave the bar. And then earlier this year, he was arrested twice in Hawaii. First for disorderly conduct and harassment at a karaoke bar, and then again for second-degree assault after he threw a chair at a 26-year-old woman in a private residence. Okay, this guy's going off his freaking rocker. He's probably smoking hardcore drugs. He's probably got the fentanyl crawl.
Probably, but then yeah, so right now the guy's running from police, and he's been posting on Instagram and stuff like that. One of them, he posted, "You cannot touch me. I'm in another universe." And then another one, he said, message from another dimension. This guy's off his rock. Dude, the dude thinks he's on like some god level existence. He really thinks that he's just way better than everyone else. And I mean, the guy obviously doesn't have faith in God. I mean, how can someone who have faith in God think that? He has a self belief that he is a God himself. He believes in the leftists' religion of self.
Well, I mean, he's
self-gratifying.
He's about to be in another dimension. He's about to be in another world. It's called hell. You know, so this guy's scrolling through his Instagram here. He looks just psychotic. Very, very full of himself. All of his pictures are of himself. Very narcissistic. Oh my gosh.
And what's weird is Warner Bros. haven't even come out and like said that they're taking him off the next movie.
He's like, I don't know what. Why do they hire people like this?
There's so many people in Hollywood that are like this.
This is why people think that in order to be in Hollywood, you have to sell your soul to Satan. Okay, I mean, because like, look at this stuff.
You don't see stuff like this around here, really. Around like where we are.
Oh, of course not, because we're not in Hollywood.
No, like there's Hollywood's so weird.
That's why
it's such a dark pit.
I wonder if he's a Freemason.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. He might be a Freemason, bro. It's every day, bro.
Why?
I don't know, because I watched some like conspiracy theory video of how like the Freemasons run the world, and like all these prominent business people are all Freemasons.
Yeah, but so I guess next year they're supposed to be coming out with a movie, The Flash.
With this psycho?
Yeah, with this guy in it.
Yeah.
They haven't even come out and like said that they're gonna cancel or anything.
They have.
This guy's such a groomer. Hey.
Nobody likes the guy. The movie will tank.
Oh, obviously.
It's like, the tank worse than Lightyear did.
Yeah. That's another thing. Lightyear, Father's Day. What a good opportunity for fathers to go take their kids out to go watch. Such a big Disney Pixar Toy Story.
Like
that's one of the biggest.
Videos.
Yeah, what's one of the biggest
let's put it this way.
Kids movies out.
Kids that grew up who watched Toy Story would have sons now they can bring to the theater and watch another Toy Story movie with. But you know what?
They come out in 1990. What was that? It was 1990 something. That's an old movie.
Yeah, like that's my brother's age, and he has a daughter who's 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like easily, he could take his daughter there and watch. But you know what? They fired what's his name?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen,
because he's a conservative.
He's a conservative. Not even like he's like center right barely, probably. Okay, like he's not even really. He's just not a lunatic.
And then they got the Chris Evans, who's such a liberal.
The worst person, Captain Government. I'm gonna start calling him Captain Government, Captain Trans the Kids. Okay, they got Captain Trans the Kids to play Lightyear, and it collapsed, and we love that.
Well, because this, I mean, they had I think they had another like Pixar movie that had like a lesbian couple or something, but the difference between that and this one was this was like the entire like plan was to market it as like the LGBTQ, like, oh, it's a kiss, like that's all you heard about. Did you ever hear anything about the movie besides this? They put the kiss in there, then decided to take it out, and then they put it back in there once all this the parental rights and education bill came out in Florida.
Yeah,
the so-called Don't Say Gay bill. And they put it in there as a revenge to DeSantis. Like, this entire movie was just a marketing for LGBTQ stuff, and you wonder why it bombed. The estimates, I believe, at the beginning were like 80 to like 120 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And it racked in at like 53 million.
Yeah, they dropped it. The estimates, like halfway through the day, dropped, I think, 35%.
Yeah. Yep. And it almost got beat out by Top Gun Maverick, who's in its like third or fourth week. I think Top Gun Maverick got like 45 million or something like that. They almost got beat by Top Gun Maverick. Which I wish it would have. That would have been so awesome. Top Gun Maverick, it's such an American movie. We still need to go watch it, though.
Yeah, we haven't even watched it yet.
Yeah.
Let's see. Lightyear, dude. 47% of users like this movie. Oof. Let's compare that to
Go look up Top Gun Maverick. Wait, what was is that Rotten Tomatoes?
No, that's Google reviews.
Oh, okay.
Rotten Tomatoes is 75. Okay, so the original Toy Story, which came out in 1995.
Ooh, dang, that's even farther than we thought.
Dude, that's 25. That's 27 years ago. That was a 90% of Google reviewers like it, and 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Fantastic movie. Okay, let's check Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick, 96% of Google users, 97% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's a good classic type movie.
That's an American movie, dude. They fought against China. They had a Taiwan flag on the back of what's his name's
Mavericks.
Yeah, Mavericks jacket. They took it off because Chinese investors were mad, and then they said screw
West
it.
Taiwan.
And they
investors.
West Taiwan's investors. We call China West Taiwan, and they decided to put it back as a big screw you to China. And you know what? It's an American classic movie.
I know. We gotta go watch it.
I know we need to, man.
But it's getting late. And we
need to wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, follow, 5-star the show. Please share with your friends and family. Grassroots marketing is one of the biggest things because the big tech social medias are not going to promote this show. So yeah, just make sure you just help us a little bit. I promise. If everyone who listens to this, which is 2 people, shared it with someone, that would double our base, man.
It would double.
It would double our base.
It's 100% increase.
Yep. Come on, man. Just help us out, and we'll be back later on. Next week for another episode.
Yeah.
Hopefully by then the Roe v. Wade decisions comes out, so we can talk about that. That would be a huge topic.
And maybe possible World War III.
Civil War. All right. Thank you for listening. Bye.